Today is July 6, 2025. Yeah, yesterday. People walked into Bob Evans on 62. We all heard that guy outside on July 4th. In the evening, there were several groups of men. One group, they were saying Dave tried to have her killed several times. And it didn't work, so they came up with this instead. Another time, another guy shows up with another guy. I told you I'm friends with Judge Ludick. He lets us get away with all this. I had him sign over her Trekasami $10 million. I spent most of it. I told him that she was mean to her children. The guy said they already checked with her children's pediatrician, said there was no sign of any abuse ever, and they were well taken care of. Oh, that don't mean anything. Oh, it means everything. You have to have medical proof somebody was abused. Police reports, police investigations. You can't just roofie somebody and tell somebody to say something stupid and think you can steal from them. That's insane. He said, no, he's lying on John. He said, John called me. Said, make sure Melissa gets everything, him and his kids. John would tell you hell would freeze over, and don't you ever help that bitch get a dime after what she did to him. After the divorce, she dropped off the kids. Okay, his turn to have them. Got everybody settled. He went to use the restroom. She snuck in his house. He's in the bathroom. Hides, waits for him to come out of the restroom. Then all of a sudden, ah! And so he blocks her and like shoves because this thing's coming at him screaming. Didn't even know she was in his house. She left. No, I got you. Call the cops. Got him arrested, domestic violence for shoving her. She should have been arrested for breaking and entering. There's a castle law. You have a right to defend yourself. Anybody would have shoved her. He had to bail out, get an attorney, pay fines, lost his kids for a year. Called me in, 19 or 20? And said, Mom, I'm going to try to get partial custody of the kids. He said, I need a reliable name to put on the court records to pick them up from school. I said, John, I'm working 2 jobs. I'm barely making it. He said, Mom, if you don't help me, I'll lose my kids forever. I said, John, if I quit my job, one of them, let alone I'm not off the first, let alone the second, I'll lose my apartment. He said, Mom, if you don't help me, I'll lose my kids forever. I said, John, I'll lose my apartment and be homeless. I only made $12 an hour at one of my jobs. He said, but Mom, and he's begging me. And I'm like, John, I'll lose my apartment. I won't be able to survive if I help you. And he was so mad at me when we got done talking, but there was nothing I could do. I didn't have enough money to hardly survive. Now, I want you to think about that. He needed a reliable name, and I couldn't help him. He lost his kids. He told me that he was paying her thousands and thousands of dollars. Well, being an electrical engineer, he made over $150,000. What was it, in 2012? So he pays her like $3,000 a month or more. She is an electrical design engineer. She makes, on Google, they make 95 to 145, 145,000. 95,000 to 145,000. She's getting like 32 to 36 grand in child support. On top of that, she makes close to 200 grand. Now, with that bitch done, now he eventually moved to Florida. Comes up and sees his kids a couple times a year. Remarried to a beautiful woman. Looks very happy. Now, I want you to think about that. What would he say if you try to give that rich bitch money? He'd be saying, don't you give her a damn dime. She wanted those kids and she pulled that mean stunt so that he would actually lose his kids forever? Don't you dare help her. She can figure it out on her own. She's got enough for 3 or 4 families. That'd be helping support somebody that stole his kids and cost him his freedom. And cost him $3,000 a month. He'd be telling you, how dare you even give her a dime after what she did to him. See, that guy lying on John. He'd tell you if she needed money, tell her to go out and figure it out herself. She wanted total custody, you tell her to figure it out herself. See, that's my kid. See, that guy was out there lying. He's the one that in 2018, 2019, they said some guy named Pete, and then it was a retired Judge Pete, friends with Judge Ludick and Judge Stephen, was letting him get away with crimes because they were friends. In 19, I started Faith Family Church. And this guy looks like a little white Santa Claus. Showed up. Was telling people that he was retired Judge Pete from the Ravenna Courthouse, friends with Judge Timothy Ludick. He was allowing him to get away with crimes. Him and the Portage County Sheriffs. See that guy out on July 4th, 25, outside my work. I told you I'm friends with Judge Ludick. He lets me get away with this. I told him she was mean to her children, so he signed that $10 million reward money for Trekasami over to me. I spent most of it. I still have a lot, but I spent most of it. He said, and I found out they haven't gave her informant money. I'm going to go down to the courthouse. I got a quarter to get it. No, you don't. He said, I'm going to take it too. No, you're not. 14th Amendment. No money, no assets can be seized, but due process of the law. You have to be found guilty and sued for it. 7th Amendment. No judge can sign over money or assets. Has to be awarded by an impartial jury trial only. Not some gangster drugging up people in their homes, having them beat and raped, drugged for fake confessions, and photoshopping or washing in their own perverted stalking tapes, and then somebody that has a judge's friend sign stuff over to them, and stealing from victims that don't even know who these people are. And they've never been tried or prosecuted for nothing. See what I mean? You can't just victimize somebody and steal from them. That's racketeering. See, that's where yesterday in Bob Evans on 62, we all heard that guy say that Judge Ludick lets him get away with crimes. And he stole $10 million. Another guy said he better not have. He better not have signed that money over to him. See, that's where I was friends with Sheriff David, Governor Mike DeWine's cousin. I was telling him about this. He said not even a sitting judge would get away with this. What is wrong with your local police? Are they slow? He said, I'll tell you what, Karen. He said, every time we sit down to dinner, he said, I come packing. I said, you're a sheriff. He said, sheriffs die too. He said, and these people that did this to you are crazy, and you better be carrying a gun too. These people are crazy. I talked to Sheriff Joe in Florida. He was swearing like a sailor. These people are pulling nothing but fucking shit. What is wrong with your local police? Why haven't they arrested that judge? And everybody involved, no one could do this. President Nixon couldn't buck an office. It's illegal to be in somebody's home or office, but under a threat of life with statements, court order without a conflict of interest. It's not some drug gangster. Some attorney's office that is friends with a judge. Breaking in private home cyber stalking. It's right on Google. It is illegal no matter what for an attorney to be in somebody's home. No matter what. They are to be prosecuted. Criminally charged cyber stalking. And they are to lose their license and be held in front of the Bar Association. Do you ever notice they don't say anything to my face of first and last names? Why? Because I could get the Bar Association after them. And then the priceless one of the dirty doctor not being one of mine but works for them, and they had lied he was one of mine. They said he runs around badmouthing me. I don't even know who he is. I was at my community health center on 7th Street. Doctor's like, I want to read the notes. It says some office hired a psychiatrist on their own. That's a federal crime. If a doctor evaluates you and you're not their patient, it's medical negligence and medical malpractice in a 10-year sentence. If they touch you, it's assault and battery. It'd be 20. That's how much they can't hire one on their own. Do you know if a doctor's not yours and you have not signed consent for them to pull your medical records, they can go to jail 10 to 20 years. Federal. See, that's where other groups of people, they found out where they thought they could have one of their doctor friends pull our medical records, how many years in federal prison they'll end up in if they open their mouth. Half my medical records are Dave's girlfriends. I found out March 27th, 25, where I had some other lady using my insurance run up all kinds of medical bills, was a girlfriend of Dave's. March 27th, 25, some agent had been dating Michelle Honorouge. Okay? Got her to confess that when they crushed in my head, that they had tried to kill me or leave me incompetent, and it didn't work. I have a dent the size of a ball peen hammer. I stutter now. They said it should have killed me. Okay? And he said that he got it out of her. The reason why she doesn't know who that doctor is from before. He was never one of hers. He works for them, and they had lied he was one of her doctors. And she actually doesn't know who he is. And Dave had been running around telling everybody he was forced into marrying me. Okay? And that he got it out of him. It was a girlfriend from before me. Made him marry me so he could get a job at my dad's factory. She'd have free insurance 2 years. And he could give her extra money. My whole marriage was a scam. Whole marriage. That's why within 9 months my dad gave Dave a job at the factory, and they said he was. So there was rumors of him cheating on me. How is that white round woman showed up? I told my brother to get me proof. And back then we didn't have cell phones. You would actually have to carry a camera in a hot rubber factory with black carbon dust flying everywhere. You couldn't carry a camera in there. I said, get me some kind of proof. I'll leave him. Of course, he denied it. He said, Karen, they're all lying on me. Why would I want a heavy-set white round woman when I have you? I was just 103 pounds. And I looked like Linda Carter back then. Had brown hair, big blue eyes. Why would I want a heavy-set white round woman? Here's his girlfriend. Then all of a sudden I started getting these medical bills that aren't mine. Turn them into the factory. Called the insurance company. Kay McMillan and my brother was there when they confronted him and said, Dave, there's rumors of you cheating on Karen. There's no way that lady would have got the company's information unless you gave it to him. Back then you didn't show ID for nothing. Unless you were getting like a personal loan. Yeah. You went in and started a doctor's office, you never showed ID. Had stayed in a hospital, surgeries, whatever. People took you at your word for who you were. You didn't have your medical card, you could call it in later. That's how people got away with identity fraud. She was even using my prescription card. I went to pick up my pain medicine, and they said it was picked up the week before. She was stealing my narcotic pain medicine. And over 15 years, over half my medical records are this lady's. I was arguing with Altman Hospital once, that they said, I want to talk about your stay in the hospital. I said, I haven't stayed in your hospital and da-da-da-da-da. They're like, well, you see Dr. So-and-so. Never heard of him. Tell him about this lady. I said, well, we sat and talked, don't you remember? I said, ma'am, I've never met you. Said, well, you said you have 2 little girls. I have 3 boys. Well, your insurance information is this. I said, yes. I told you some other lady's using it. You stole the money, click. Other ones would call up and I tell them the same thing. And you know what they said? Somebody will pay those copays. Since they used your information, you'll pay it. Oh, people were horrible. Over half my medical records are this lady's. See, that's where these people, where they said they got this doctor friend that's not one of mine, running around lying. Where my community health on 7th Street, doctor said, I want to read the notes. It said some office said they hired a psychiatrist on their own to evaluate her. And she said if someone bashed in her head, she was distraught over her divorce and probably banged her head till she dented it. That's impossible. You'd pass out first. Oh, I even found out that they're running around telling people where I went to Ohio Neck and Head Surgeon to get a hard piece of wax dug out of my ear that was stuck. They said some psychiatrist is going around telling everybody if she tells people she was part of an FBI case, no one's to believe her. We told them we didn't want to hear it. That's a federal crime. Doctors cannot even admit they've seen you without your signed consent. Or without your consent. They cannot evaluate you without your signed consent. They cannot pull your medical records without your signed consent. On Google, it says flat out the only time that they can actually pull a limited amount of your information is in like an emergency room in your unconscious. Just enough to treat you. See if you got allergies to meds or whatever. That's it. Or it's a 10-year sentence and $1.5 million fine. See what I mean? They can't run around businesses telling people not to believe me and say there's some kind of doctor. That's a federal crime. Give me the name of dirty doctor. Oh, the medical board. We'll make sure that you're in jail for like 20 to 30 years. And I can sue you. Name a dirty attorney's office. See, they never confronted me in person of anything. See, they think they can just break in somebody's home, set up button cameras, stalking them. So I heard they sold kitty porn and my grandkids going potty. Have me drugged for fake confessions. How would you like to find out predators? You're in a new home. Well, water's real dirty. You have to get a water treatment system. You still have to shower. You still have to wash your hands after you use the bathroom. It's orange. Here it's got high levels of iron. Okay? Brought in bottled water to cook and drink. But you still have to wash your hands. You still have to take a fast shower. I thought it was killing me. We moved in Memorial Day weekend of 2018. By June 7th of 18, I remember laying on the floor and the room was spinning, had bruises on me, couldn't figure out why I was so sick. Almost passed out in front of the neighbor by the second week. Kept saying I didn't know what was wrong with me outside. I'd have orange, lemon, grapefruit-sized bruises all over me. I thought it was giving me cancer just showering in it. Throwing up, headache, dizzy, almost passing out. And my personal area is so swollen I can't hardly pee and I'd scream when I peed. And I thought it was a dirty well water giving me cancer. And infecting my personal area. Here, rapists are drugging me up and telling me to say stuff. How would you like to be home alone? Go use the bathroom, come out and take a drink in the room, went dizzy and black. Wake up with marks that look like injection marks, orange, lemon, grapefruit-sized bruises all over you. and no memory. Told you I had 3 weird memories and I thought they were nightmares. The sound of footsteps, a white man's arm with a syringe coming at me. And feeling like my back's being ripped open to my chest. I can't see, I can't breathe, and every part of my body's in agony, screaming and wailing. And I can't breathe, and I can't see, and all I can hear are my screams. I thought they were nightmares. Here I'm being drug beat, raped, human trafficked under drugs. Agent John, the day after I talked to you, those men where I was talking to Dixie, telling her to stay out of this, Heard the word kill it, my security system went off. Heard footsteps. And where I'm crying over the threats of my life. That's not what's going on in here, man. Everybody out in here scuttering. They were coming in to rape me, weren't they? I caught them. Got up and somebody had broken my house. Where they were laughing last Saturday in Circle Restaurant. That attorney was letting men pay him to come in and rape me. They said she's not a bad-looking older lady, so they didn't mind paying to rape her. We already know that attorney's office had her drugged and told us say it. And we're laughing at me. Well, they showed up on Sunday at Golden Corral. 2 guys were talking. They admitted that attorney's office had her drugged and told her to say it before. I said, yeah, they said the originals already said that. They were laughing at her for it. And he was having men pay him to rape her. And then 2 idiots for Bill from the Freemasons. They were supposed to rape you because you're so ugly that nobody would want you, so they felt sorry for you. That's why they were paying that attorney. It's like, fuck off. Stupid bastards. See, that's where the whole thing of it is. How would you like to be home alone? Take a drink out of a Diet Coke. Room go dizzy and black. Wake up with injection mark bruises, throwing up, infected. Almost passing out, heart racing. Going to the doctor, what on earth is wrong with me? Did you fall? No. Maybe you're coming anemic. Gave me iron pills, muscle relaxers, stuff for headaches, nauseousness, and severe personal infection. And nobody's thinking of a rapist. And I kept thinking, if that idiot's beating on me, why am I not waking up? Here he's human trafficking me. Where I was down in Rural King on June 25th, 25 in New Philly. They looked up the case. They said it was some attorney's office. Thought they could have her drugged for fake confessions, photoshopped and framed it in their own stocking tapes, and have men drug, beat, and rape her on their own. Nobody would say a word. It was just some attorney's office doing this to her. So, Agent John, why didn't you arrest him? They had no right in my home. Where they lied to people, they found a law that they could be in her home before. No, there's no such law. Oh, she had charges before so they could go at, no, I don't have any charges. And there's no excuse for ever an attorney to be in your home. 4th Amendment, the right of the people to be safe and secure within your own person. Nobody can touch you unless you want them to. Your places, your homes, your papers, and effects against all unreasonable searches or seizures shall not be violated. Your home can't be violated. No searches, no seizures, but upon probable cause warranted with an oath or affirmation of people, places, or things to be searched or seized. Have to be police or agencies only. Court order. Okay? Then you have a right to remain quiet, 5th Amendment, and 6th, to an attorney. With those 3 rights, police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life, with statements, with a court order, without a conflict of interest. Not some gangster, shyster attorney and his drug addict rapist friend. Slipping. How would you like to be home alone and find out somebody had laced your drink and you didn't know they were in your home? Drugged you up and told you to say something. Had you stabbed with date rape drugs? You never seen or talked to anybody. Hmm? See, I told the doctor I thought it was a dirty well water, and I found out my ex-husband was having me drugged being raped. The doctor said, well, if that well water would have had E. coli in it, it would have made you that sick. I understand why you would think it was the well water. It actually makes sense. I said, well, we found out it had high levels of iron in it. She said that wouldn't do anything. She said, but it does make sense where you move into a new home, the water's dirty, and all of a sudden those things start happening to you. Why you would think it was the well water. And here it's predators running a scam on you. And then they run around. We can steal all our money. We have a court order. We have a friend judge that signed it over. 14th Amendment. 14th Amendment. This is one of your other rights. You cannot withhold protection under any jurisdiction for any person. Where they say no one can help it, it's a federal crime. It also says no one's money or assets will be seized without due process of the law. You have to be found guilty and sued for it. The 7th Amendment. No judge can sign over money or assets. They have to be awarded a set amount from a jury trial in an impartial jury trial, and no judge is allowed just to sign it over. First Amendment, freedom of speech. No one can take your freedom of speech away but a judge in a jury trial. Learn your rights. See, the ones that wrote our Constitution, England had took over the United States, and they were taking people's homes, money, assets, and leaving people with nothing. They set it up that no one could ever steal from an individual. Our forefathers that wrote the Constitution made sure people couldn't lose their businesses, their homes, or their assets to anyone, except for under due process of the law, and then only set amounts. And they had to be awarded by an impartial jury trial. They made sure that everything was set up honest and legal, that no one could just steal from somebody. Learn your rights. It's very important. So people can't just steal. No, where that guy was outside, I'm going to go down and get her informant money and just take it. I got a court order. No, you don't. I'll tell you what, you go call up the courthouse, there won't be anything. Oh, because I would own Lulick. I could sue him for theft for $10 million. And Pete. It's a scam. Where they said, even yesterday, we all heard that guy say that he was friends with Ludick, getting him away with crime. He had signed over that $10 million to him. He better not have. They said somebody's framing him. Said attorney's office. Like where the Louisville police, May 30th, 25 at 1 o'clock in the morning. They, I heard talking. My bed is right by the parking lot window. I look out, and it's 2 police cars. And a lady's outside. And she's breaking how she's railroading Melissa and Dixie to put their name on anything, and she's going to arrest them. She won't be around to help them, and she's going to hit them with all charges. By the way, honey, I turned you over to the DOJ. Entrapment is a federal crime. Leave the dumb people alone. God help them how far they've made it this, and telling people. And then she told the police she thought I was so dumb I didn't know surveillance laws. I know how to use Google. And I can type. See, if I have any questions or whatever, I don't even have to pull out law books. You have Google. Google pulls up all kinds of law, anything you need to know. The internet is amazing. Back in my day when I was in high school, you'd spend hours in a library. Takes me a second. I didn't know she knew surveillance laws. I thought she was stupid. I was going to trick her out of money. Well, honey, I turned you into the FBI, the sheriffs, and the Department of Justice, the CIA, and the NSA. And the guy, the police she was talking to outside, said that they pulled May 26, 25 of Walmart 62. The investigator said the cartel said this whole thing is a scam from Bill from the Freemasons. I didn't think about it. Well, where the hell you been? They've been breaking this whole thing as a scam for 7 years. A little slow. Said this whole thing is in Walmart. They had said the cartel said that this whole thing is a scam from Bill from the Freemasons, and that doctor from before isn't one of hers. He works for them, and they lied, and they're tired of him, and they're threatening war. I didn't think about it. And said the investigators look up the case, said her ex-husband hired 2 men on his own. One said they were attorney, and that made it legal. No, it makes it worse illegal. Oh yeah, it's right on Google. They're to lose their license and be criminally charged. They can never be in your home, let alone have you drugged for fake confessions, beaten, raped. See, in 19, they said somebody was taking a payoff to let those men break in and rape me. It was at attorney's office. That Bill from the Freemason, Willie Bill. Running drug scams on people with his shyster friend Pete. Huh? The one that's framing Ludick and Steven? And where the Louisville police said, well, we've been telling all the police departments not to help her because she told on the Portage County sheriffs for being in that hospital. They weren't Portage County sheriffs. Like the investigator said, we heard those dirty police officers. Those were not Portage County sheriffs. We asked them if that was them. They said it's probably the Freemasons or cartel impersonating them. Well, those people were telling people they were FBI. Guys like, well, if this whole thing is a scam. She had emailed me and told me that Henry Maffei was in town. And the drug cartel. I didn't even check. I'm like, you look so bad at this point, just walk away. Just walk away. And they said some girl named Lori in town actually knew who that Henry Maffei was, and I didn't even check. Her family member was taken by that cartel. And they laughed in her face how they tied her up and cut her up in pieces and how she died. By the same people that tried to kidnap me. I'll tell you what, if anybody wanted to be proud of me that day that I got information out of her, I kept it together. It was the hardest thing I did. I was working at a client lift. She got a text message that somebody had walked up and just shot her friend in Canton in his car and killed him instantly. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Well, this is as bad as when they took my family member. And they laughed at me. They tied her up and cut her up in pieces, and that's how she died. I'm like, people were sick. She said they kept making fun of me in stores, like it's funny they raped her. Looked at her, I said, people are sick. You want to see a picture of her? She was beautiful. Young, thin, beautiful blonde girl. I sat down. I took a deep breath. I thought, keep it together, keep it together. I'm at work, keep it together. I said, did you know about the guy in the white van? She looked at me and said, how'd you know about the white van that took my family member? I swear, I couldn't tell. I'd lose it. I took a deep breath. I said, do you remember the guys that were from Florida or here in Louisville? Because she lives in Louisville. She said, yeah, they were in the bars. Me and my boyfriend seen them. I said, did you know of Henry Maffei? Sounds about right. He was with him. Show her the picture from Facebook. That's not him, but he is with him. I said, they said they were drug traders. She said, yes, they did. And then we went over some more stuff. And she kept saying, now how you tell me how you knew about the guy in the white van. I kept changing the subject. She said there was a big reward on how to find the person that took my family member. Well, I tried to tell that agent on the phone. Wouldn't listen to me. That's where they said that Lori in town even knew who Henry Maffey was. They talk about Henry Maffey in Ravenna, Bedford, everywhere. Part of the Florida drug cartel, human traffickers. They were here in town. Little children are calling them bastards. Everybody knows they're here in town, and the ones that work for Judge Peters from Florida. Everybody, including the children, and the cops didn't know they were here. It's like, just walk away at this point. Oh, the FBI showed up within a few days, walk around Giant Eagle. I've seen some of my guys. What do you mean they didn't check? It's like, just walk away at this point. And by the way, I'm moving out of Louisville. I'll be out of here in 2 weeks. Where they said they only pretend to protect me. There's a court order from a judge, opened by FBI agent John. A Stark County judge signed it for threat and attempted life case with money and immunity for an FBI informant. Open September 23rd to October 5th of 2018 in the Stark County Courthouse, ordered by a Stark County judge to protect me. And you're only going to pretend to protect me? They even said that we only pretend to protect her because she told them the Portage County Sheriff's. Now, I'm going to put it this way. If you know a cop is doing a crime and harming somebody, are you to report it? Heavens, yes. They are not above the law. And they are to be processed and criminally charged. And what if by chance it's a criminal telling everybody he's a cop? You definitely want to get them stopped so there's not another victim. You're supposed to report it and let the cops do their job. I went out with several police officers. I went out with this one police officer. He said, you can never tell anybody not to believe somebody, not to help them. You go to jail for it. It's called badgering. I said, boy, that's the word I'm looking for, and that's a hot subject. He said it's tampering with witnesses and evidence. And it's obstruction to justice. And they yell badgering. You lose your badge. They can prove that you were doing it. You go to jail as an accessory to the crimes that happened to that person. That's how much. They said that it doesn't matter what somebody says something to you. They report it. By federal law, you have to look into it. Or you go to jail as an accessory. You don't have a right to have an opinion. He said he told me he had this one crazy neighbor. He said she hated him. And she would call the cops on him. And here he's a cop. And he said she was a nutbag. And she would call the cops on him all the time. And the cops would come out and knock on his door. And one time, oh, you die laughing at this one. I had the best giggle. She told the cops he was making her blinds go up and down. And he was controlling the squirrels to poop on her deck. That lady needed committed. That's a rich one. The cop knocks on the door and said, I'm sorry to bother you. He said, I know it's law that you have to tell me. What did she say now? You're supposed to be controlling our blinds. Well, some people have electric ones. You can actually have remotes. He said, sure I am. He said, and what is this about making squirrels poop on her neck? He said, sure I am. He said, she's a nutbag. He said, I get that. But by law, I have to be out here and asking you questions. He said, I'll tell you, she's a nutbag. And he just laughed they both sat there and laughed. He said, I'm sorry to bother you. He said, I know you have to do your job and come out and investigate. And find out what's going on with that lady. Calling in and saying that stuff. They have to, by federal law, look into it. Where they said they didn't even bother, that was a federal crime. Henry Maffey works for Judge Peters from Florida, the human trafficker that got arrested by the FBI with 100 people in Florida, where they showed up at Faith Family Church. There was a guy with looked like a little, there was several sets of people at Faith Family Church, over 3,000 people seen him. There was a group that was Judge Peters from Florida. They said that they had mind-controlling drugs and they could control anybody 4 to 6 hours. And they were with the fake FBI agents and the fake Portage County sheriffs, harming me and raping and torturing me and selling the login. And Michelle was with them. Over 3,000 people, including the Stark County Sheriff, seen him. Now, there was a guy that also showed up there that had a long white beard, looked like a little white Santa Claus. Said he was retired Judge Pete from the Ravenna courthouse. He was friends with Judge Ludick, and he was letting him get away with crimes. Michelle was seen with all of them. Where that guy said he was friends with Judge Ludick, the one that's framing Judge Ludick, Judge Stephen, Portage County Sheriffs, like the investigators said, where those cops said they weren't going to help me because I reported the Portage County Sheriffs. They asked the Portage County Sheriffs, it wasn't them. They figured it was the Freemasons or the drug cartel, and what do you mean those cops didn't look into it? Their job is to find out who is running that scam and get the people behind it, and they had them under surveillance saying and doing it. They were to arrest them. You're supposed to report people. Well, I do not need people saying they're pretending to protect me. I need police officers with integrity that take their oath to heart and actually care about rape victims. Where the men that worked my case, the investigators, Karen's a victim of an occult that drugged her and tried to kill her before. The word victim of an occult that had her drugged and almost killed her before. They will tell you Karen is a human trafficking victim. And I'll tell you what, you get a hold of one of the investigators working my case, not only will they be in your face, they will talk about me like I'm gold. She's amazing. She has no training, and she got all that information on those people. She helped save a lot of lives. And they'll be saying, how dare you disrespect her. I'll tell you what, Officer Mark gets a hold of you. He's a heavier set white guy with white hair. He'll be in your face. Officer John gets a hold of you. He's a shorter white guy with black hair. He'll get you. He'll scream at you. He's badass. I heard he's not an officer. I heard he's an FBI agent. And his name's not John. Well, I didn't know. I was in Walmart and they said John's here to take care of Karen. I looked over and I seen him and he said something nice. So I thought his name was John. And then police officers were talking about the officers that watched me. So I thought he was an officer. So I named him Officer John. Actually, I thought that was his name. And there's a good chance that Officer Mark is an agent too. The Belden Village, the FBI office, there's 2 guys about my son Josh's age. Just want to remind you of them. I went in there in 22 and they were talking about the case, walking in the back. I thought you were cops. They're for FBI agents. The FBI's never left. Hi guys. They're supposed, that guy impersonating retired Judge P. from with Ludick, he's going to try to go down the courthouse and steal my money. Fair warning, he's coming. They said he stole my $10 million. And he's framing Ludick for signing it over. And he spent most of it. That he embezzled $10 million from the government that was mine. See, if I actually had my money, John, Josh, and Dan would have been a millionaire. If Melissa wasn't involved, she would have had $500,000. And I'll tell you what, Kelsey in town and Josh, now I know everybody in Louisville knows them. My other granddaughter, Riley, that is one of John's daughters from his girlfriend, they would have had $500,000. Like they said, the only one that actually loved everyone was Karen. Dave's running around threatening to kill everyone. Karen's risking her life to get information to save her family on those people. And she's almost died. Her family should be ashamed of herself, sitting around laughing, making up stuff on her, while she's running around trying to save everybody's life, and she's almost died. They ought to be ashamed. See, even Josh and Kelsey would have got a $500,000. I loved my family. I'm a generous, kind person that I would have set my family up to be well taken care of. Because I loved them enough, I almost died to save them. See, that's where investigators have screamed at people, how dare you insult her? She almost died to save those people. FBI informant. If I go up in around Bueller's, North Main, in Akron, Karen's will's still open. We all know it's part of the FBI's nationwide human trafficking scam. Do you know where they got up on the news and said the countrywide human trafficking scam? We're part of it. That's where that agent where I called the hotline, he went up and told on me for calling the hotline at that church before he talked to me. Admitted on a recorded line that he met with all the church people in his office. They already knew I called the FBI. Made fun of me for some guy named Pete, how he's scamming me, some kind of doctor, and I thought it was that other lady's insurance. Not insurance, but that other lady that was using my insurance doctor. No, it's just a scam. It didn't make any sense. He sounded like a nutbag. Admitted he knew everything before he listed me informant with money and immunity. And then he don't even have authority. It takes a judge. He was bullshitting him. Where April 1925, the FBI shows up at Hartville Flea Market. You wouldn't believe how dumb these people are and how really dumb they are. She calls a FBI hotline. They immediately walk into an FBI office. Confess that they're illegally monitoring her on their own. They already know she called the FBI. Nobody ever fell for the dirty doctor scam, taping you unaware before confessing a crime. Sat on it till Dave wanted a divorce. It sounded mechanical, and we knew it was all them. There's like 25 to 30 years in federal prison for that statement. It's illegal for a doctor to tape you unaware because of HIPAA and Privacy Act. That's 10 years. It's illegal for them to be in it with Dave. Same thing. That's another 10 years. If they know someone's being heard, they have to report a limited report to the police. There may be a problem here. I need you to look into it. If they do not, they go to jail as an accessory. That's like 35 years. Federal in that one statement. Like they said, these people didn't even know how illegal it was to put the word doctor on it. Made it totally illegal. Okay. And it sounded mechanical, and we knew it was them and not you. Well, they had a voice alternator where they copied people's voices, talked through it, and it sounded a little different. Okay? And then they said nobody ever fell for the tape of weird with yourself. We already knew it was photoshopped or washing yourself in the shower, and they photoshopped everything. But if they were going to be that dumb and try this with us, we told Agent John to go tell on her at that church and to act as dumb as these people to find out who's involved. That's why he's telling people he knew I was being drug beat and raped, didn't care because someone called me a faker. My money, Agent John. And then, trust me, everybody knew how not funny it was on the gunshot night and that it really happened. And we all knew how not funny it was when the second group showed up and said that they work for a drug lord and Dave hired them. The Texas group, they're all after. For we all work for the king from Texas. We are his men. Dave hired us. He's a drug lord. Then all the other cartels parading. This case where they say I'm part of the nationwide human trafficking scam, it was bad guys on a platter. Where they had it on the news last year, the despicable act of law enforcement turning women and children back over to drug dealers to get the drug dealers. Should never happen, but it's happening. It's effective, but evil. He wanted that court order for protected custody case, threat, and attempted life case with statements, and a judge's order for police surveillance, legally by car, phone, apartments, homes, so that they could get these bad guys under police surveillance. The U.S. Marshal showed up January 20th, 23 in Worcester, and Maddie's friend on the police department got a hold of him, knew about my case 2.5 hours away. Got a hold of him, they used the case, got 800 in one swoop. 3 weeks later, February 14th, 23. They got Trekasami was arrested through Michael Peterson's thing where I was talking to him online of how he was smuggling oil into the United States through Trekasami. I told him I didn't believe him. He sent me a letter of allegation, a bill of sales, and large money transfers I got when he was going down there. The port it was coming back, the state that was buying the smuggled oil, when he was leaving, what airport, where he was staying. And Trekasami was arrested last year and 50 other people for stealing from their government. They said they called down and asked about a shipment. It wasn't legit, and they had looked into it, and they found out how much he was stealing. I got a world terrorist arrested. Like they said, they've got so many bad guys off of this case, no one even knows what to say to her. My money. At this point, a letter of thank you and my money, and walk away and tell my kids what happened. The truth. How Dave had me drugged and framed by these two gangsters. Drugged and told to say that, photoshopped it, and they thought they could fool the police or the feds. And they used that case, and they saved hundreds of kids that they took, and thousands went to jail. Time they got done. Where up in Hartville, the police told the one guy in the laundromat that that agent told everyone that he was only acting that way to get the drug dealers. And they got all those drug dealers off this case, and he didn't pay her. They were afraid that the agent stole my money. See, I talked to a criminal attorney, prosecutors off police, and my one friend, Grant, has a friend that's an FBI agent in another state. That agent don't have authority to ask anybody to stay quiet. It can't be in a court order because of the freedom of speech. It takes only a judge in a jury trial. And I'm like, well, he already confessed. He told on me. He can't tell you, but you can tell whoever you want. And he can't say a word. It's the freedom of speech. He's only a hired police officer. He was only bullying you. And he can't make up his own restrictions. And he can't withhold your money, and he can't misdirect it. And even an agent said, another agent out of state said if that really happened, she didn't get her money. The only one that could took it was you, John. And that guy, Pete. Oh, do you know they're trying to steal my new husband, Carl, his money? They have been breaking. They got a quarter to steal his money. I'll tell you what, his real attorney, that is the mayor of Carrollton's wife, she'll kill you. She'll destroy you in court, and I'll be a very rich woman. Because there's no such thing as a court order to take his money. Or anything that I ever get in life, where they said, we got a court order to steal everything she gets in life. No, you don't. There's no such thing. 7th Amendment. Money can only be awarded through a jury trial, and only a set amount by an impartial jury. Not a jury, and it is illegal for a judge to sign it over. It's a federal crime. See what I mean? These people are bullshitting you. You show up with that, I will own you. And anybody, and I'll tell you what, you call the Ravenna courthouse where they told people I had charges. I don't have charges. They said it's just the drug cartel. December 18, 24. We called up the Ravenna courthouse. They said there's nothing against her. That it's just the drug cartel. Bill from the Freemasons big scam. May 25th, 25. Hollister's. And Summit Mall. Had some guy break in and drug her up and tell her to say that. Can you imagine somebody breaking in and drugging somebody up and tell them to say something like that? Had somebody tape somebody in the shower washing themselves. Can you imagine somebody taping somebody washing themselves? And photoshopping that in the other room. Ran a contest off of it. Who could steal her money? Scammed everybody into helping out. That's where May 26, 25. And then Walmart 62. How they were making fun of all of this. In Summit Mall. How the cartel's tired of Bill from the Freemasons. We all are.